I'm Dave Maurer. I'm an intervention specialist at Salina High School.
Okay. How much money do you make?
I think this year I make about $61,000, give or take a few hundred.
Okay. What hours do you work?
We're required to be here from 7:10 in the morning until 2:35 in the afternoon. But usually I come in. I'm usually here between 10 till 7 and 7 o'clock. And my son goes to school here, so he's in baseball. So sometimes I'm here till into the evening, just waiting on him.
And then, what are your benefits?
Benefits, we are offered like health insurance, but I don't take the health insurance here because my wife's also a teacher and she can carry me in her insurance. So it's actually cheaper for me just to go into her insurance than take it here. We also have like a small life insurance policy, retirement. Obviously, the retirement as a teacher is pretty decent, although it's not as good as it used to be. When I first got into teaching, you had to teach 30 years before you could retire. Then they upped it to 35 years, and now I think I have to go until I'm 60 years old. So that actually added about 8 years onto what I originally thought I was going to have to, the number of years I was going to have to teach. Those are the main benefits. Summer's off is nice, you know. We've got set hours, which is nice.
What are the qualifications for this career?
You have to have a minimum of a bachelor's degree. I think they really encourage a master's degree as well.
What interests should you have for this career?
Obviously, you need to be interested in working with kids. You know, you're dealing with kids all the time. You've got all kinds of different levels of ability. You've got different ages at the high school. So you definitely have to be interested in kids, and you have to be patient. So that's the main things. Obviously, interested in education, learning. And teaching.
What does the job entail?
I work with students with learning disabilities for the most part. Some also with cognitive disabilities, which means they have a lower IQ. So my job really is to teach those students life skills and to make accommodations to their, you know, like retest to them, give them extended time, anything that's going to help them get to the level they should be if they didn't have a disability. So, you know, I'm doing a lot of modification and accommodating of their classes, their tests, their worksheets. And I'm trying to come up with a curriculum that I think, when I'm teaching my classes in here, a curriculum that I think is going to benefit them once they get out of school, which is going to be a lot of hands-on type stuff, some functional skills. In math right now we're doing checkbooks and savings accounts and things like that they're really going to use. When I co-teach with other teachers, my job is more to just do one-on-one help with the kids and, like I said, to kind of modify their assignments so that it's doable for them.
What is a normal day in this career?
Normal day is, you know, there's no such thing as a normal day in this career, but you know, I get here, I've got 7 periods a day with a lunch break in between. Typically I start off with my 2 functional classes, you know, my lower level kids. Then I co-teach 3 periods a day. I've got an intervention period, which is kind of like a study hall where I help kids or give them accommodations during that time, retest to them and things like that. But you know, you're faced with challenges all the time. Every day is different, like I said. Sometimes things go real smooth, other times they don't go smooth at all. You know, you get kids. The kids I have in class have been pretty much together every day for their entire school life. They're almost like family. You know, they're like brothers and sisters to a certain extent. And so they behave like brothers and sisters. They have arguments over silly things. They get in fights, and then the next minute they're best friends again. And you know, you got to kind of manage that. You know, so it's almost like I'm babysitting and teaching at the same time. I'm teaching them how to behave. I'm teaching them how to live their normal life. I'm teaching them school skills. So, I've got all different levels, When I get into the regular classroom, then it's a little bit more normal, but, I still have kids that are down here and kids that are up here, and, you're trying to find the middle ground somewhere so that the kids that are, a little bit more advanced aren't bored, but the kids that are way behind aren't lost, So it's interesting, to say the least. Every day is different, so it's, it's a challenge every day, and it can be a lot of fun, and it can also be very frustrating. I like the fun part.
Are there options for promotions?
I don't know if you'd really say promotions, but if you further your education, you could become a principal, you could become a superintendent if you choose to go that path. I don't know if I'd really say it's a promotion though, because you have to work towards that, and then you interview just like anybody else, so you might get that position if you want it. You could always go to another school district and try to become a principal or something there, but it's not something I want. I like teaching. I'm not really trying to become a principal or a superintendent or anything like that because I'm not interested in it. So just as a teacher in general, not really. There's not really any promotions.
Okay. What is the highest level you could achieve?
Superintendent, sure.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone pursuing this career?
This career in general?
Yeah.
At any career, you got to make sure it's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go into a career just because of the money. Or a lot of people will go into teaching just because they like the idea of summers and weekends off. Some people go into it because they want to coach. I wouldn't recommend any of those things. I think if you want to be a teacher, then you need to enjoy working with kids, and you need to really believe that you are going to make a difference in somebody's life. Because there's so much involved. There's a lot of paperwork. It requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of understanding. Because, like I said, you've got to be a mentor. You've got to be a teacher. You've got to be a parent to a certain extent. You've got to be a guidance counselor. You've got to be all these things to your students every day. And there's so much involved behind the scenes that people don't know about. They just think, oh yeah, you go in and you start teaching at 7:20 in the morning, and you get off at 2:20 in the afternoon. And you get your summers off. It must be great. No, we come in early. Every teacher gets here early, and you start working the minute you get here. You're preparing for the day, even though you've spent a whole week preparing the lessons for the entire week, because they never go the way you think they're going to. But, you start preparing for the day, and then, constantly throughout the day, you're grading papers and making adjustments, and then you're making grading papers after school and making lessons for the next day, and it really goes on. And then you've got to continue your education in the summers, and, there's a lot involved, but you really have to have a passion for kids and wanting to better somebody and just be a teacher. I think you can make a difference.
How long is the schooling?
You have to go at least 4 years for your bachelor's. I went my 4 years and I got a degree in elementary education, grades 1 to 8. When I graduated college, there wasn't really any jobs available in the area that I wanted to stay in. So I got a job as an intervention specialist, even though I wasn't certified. So I had to go back to college, and while I was teaching, earned my intervention specialist degree, which took about 2 years. And then I actually had, this is kind of weird, but I had to student teach on the job. I'd already been teaching for 2 years, and they told me I had to get a student teaching experience in. So while I was actually teaching, they came and observed me, and I student taught while I was teaching. And then I got my master's degree after that, which took me about another 2 years. And then, like I said, you got to do continuous education. So, I've probably got anywhere from 7 to 8 years at least in right now, and you've got to get, I think it's 6 semester hours every 5 years. So in the next, 20 years, I'm going to get at least another 24 credits. So, and the more, you talk about promotions, the more education you have, the higher earnings you get. So, like, you get paid more if you have a master's degree. And then if you get to a master's plus 15 or master's plus 30, we don't have a 15 here, but master's plus 30 jumps you up in the pay scale again. So that would be kind of like a promotion, I guess. More pay anyway. That's what we want, more money,
Yeah.
right? So,
All right, well,
anything else?
nope.
All right, thanks.